Hey y'all, it's Kim J Stitches, Kim J Inspired. I go by a lot of names, but I'm just Kim. It's been a long time since I have done a FlossTube, and I'm a little nervous. I am in a new location. My husband and I, y'all know Steve if you watched me before. Come on over, Steve. Come on over. This is my husband, Steve.
Hello, I'm Kim J's husband.
We've moved to Tennessee. We have a new, bigger place. We are loving Ottawa, Tennessee, and the whole Chattanooga area. Steve is doing well. Y'all know that he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. We had that. That's been everywhere, and it was actually on my Instagram. But he is doing amazingly great, and we thank you for all of your thoughts and prayers for us. But we're still having just a great old time, are we not, Steve?
Yes.
All right, you go away now.
All right.
Except stay here. I'm going to want you to move some stuff. So what I'm going to do for my first FlossTube back, I must say all of our children are doing well. And I still work as a writer, and nothing much has changed with us. And we still do a lot of traveling on Southern places and faces, which I will link below. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about me because I have a lot to show you. I'm going to show you some full finishes that I have done, and I'm also going to do kind of a mini WIP parade and things that I hope to do. I'm shooting from my dining room table, and in our dining room we have kind of a seasonal wall. I'm going to kind of move. So that is, I'm going to point to that, is the Country Cottage Needleworks sampler of the month. The February one was one of my favorites. Over there is a Be Mine photo from Annabelle's, and below there that says love you more, but I forget who the designer was. I'll try to remember to link that below. You can see all of this on my Instagram. I'm not the best about getting on Instagram. Sometimes I just don't like getting on social media. I also had one more Valentine's finish, and it kind of sits back here. There's an ugly one back there. I'm going to just there, you can see enough of it. You can read that horrible story on Instagram as well. This is a pattern from Little Stitch Girl. Now, I stitched this in 2021. Y'all may have seen it if you've watched my previous FlossTube. The pattern is called Loads of Love. It was a little bit bigger than this. I condensed it just to the wagon and the words. Stitched this on 32 count fabric from Hobby Lobby. I used most of the called for colors to my knowledge. Struggled for years with how in the world I was going to fully finish this. Was working in my stash of finishing products, found this wood block. This is actually supposed to be hung up, but I'm not doing that. It sits. Was walking through Walmart with Steve one day, saw this ribbon, and it was like $1.29. Bought this, went searching for other ribbons, picked this up at Dollar Tree, and picked this rose up at Dollar Tree, and voila. So why is there a pig in the corner? Well, if you know anything about me, my mom collected pigs. My sister gave this to all of us at Christmas. It's called a hug. And I was like, my corners are, I still have to work on my corners all. That corner didn't look as good, so I put the pig hug in that. Now, I know that Sara from Sara Stitches remembers the story about loads of love and lots of love about my mom. We were all trying to figure out social media when it first happened. And my mom thought LOL meant lots of love. So somebody would say, oh, my father died. And my mom would go, I'm so sorry, LOL. And I think that's when I asked, do you understand what LOL means? She goes, oh, it's lots of love. I go, no, it means laugh out loud. So my mom was very sweet. She did give us all loads of love. So this is almost in honor of her. So I'm happy with this finish. Some of them I am not happy with, but we'll talk about that in future videos. So I also jumped on the Blessing sampler bandwagon. I did not do a traditional sampler. What I did, this is a pattern from My Big Toe. It just came out. It's called My Flesh and My Heart May Fail. It's Psalm 73:26. I won't read it to you. This is an 8x8 frame that I picked up from Hobby Lobby, and it just perfectly fit. I'm trying not to glare if you see. I stitched this with all the called for colors except for the green, which I had to find just a close match to, and that was called for DMC. Now this fabric is some of my favorite. It was 28 count Legacy from Picture This Plus. I do love Picture This Plus. I love GraceNotes Fabrics and Picture This Plus, and I have projects on other fabrics, but man, those have been my two favorites lately. So there was that finish. Steve, will you put those at the end of the table, and then you could go do whatever you want. There are no football games on today, so I'm not sure what Steve's going to be up to today. Put it at the end of the dining room table. He's just going to sit those down there because I have so much over here in piles. So another finish, y'all, if you watched me back then, I actually stitched this back then. This is the Cardinal Etching. It was from Punch Needle Primitive Stitcher magazine. I ordered this fabric. It was 14 count. I got it off one of the stash unloads. I stitched it. I don't remember the colors. I actually stitched that, I think, in 2020 or 2021. Again, this sat in my stash, not knowing what to do. So Steve painted this sled red for me, and it was just laying there, and I thought, oh my goodness, this is a great situation. I could use this. I actually just put together some greenery. This is a bunch of stuff I had in stash. Now, my centering is terrible. I am working on that, but I don't measure. And then everything in our living room as far as Christmas was buffalo check. This is a buffalo check ribbon. Now, yeah, I know you're normally supposed to put, you know, the ribbon at the top, but again, I was covering up a really bad corner right there. So I was real happy with this finish. It had a perfect place to hang in our new apartment, and I don't know, I couldn't stop looking at it. One of the things that I have done since we have moved, I have my own office and craft room. All of the seasonal pieces that don't have a home that can hang, they hang in my office and craft room. In our guest room, I bought this cube, and I was going to use it for something else, but what's on the cube now, and it has, I think, 15 spaces close to it, is all of the seasonal pieces that I would just want to keep somewhere so they could still be on display. So if you ever come and stay at our house, you're going to stay in a room where, hey, you get to look at all of my seasonal cross stitch from fall and Christmas. And I don't have much summer. We're going to talk about that in a minute. A lot of spring. I have a lot of spring finishes. So that is that finish. Now, I did do some winter. I didn't have a lot of winter. So I did this finish because if you know me, there's always going to be a gingham bow, guys. This is winter. The pattern is from Lizzie Kate. I stitched this on some, I think this is a 28 count even weave. I don't know if it's Joblin or Lagana, but I stitched this, had this little thing, and again, something I hadn't stashed. And also, I realized that this, you can't see this, it could sit up too. So since we have this piece of furniture back here in our dining room, it keeps a lot of our cups and plates that don't fit into our cabinets. We've just used this as a seasonal display. It's been lots of fun stitching pieces for that. So that's winter from Lizzie K. All right, Steve, will you put these at the end of the dining room table? Two. And then, all right, this is my last one. I'm going to show you my full finishes. I forget the name of the pattern maker. I will link her below. But I just saw this. Somebody randomly posted this winter pattern. I thought it was cute. Stitched it up. And yeah, you're going to see a lot of gingham in my finishes if you don't recall. So this is what I just decided. I had this basket in stash for so many years. I don't know where I came up with this idea. I pulled some, these are like 3 different pieces of greenery that I just put together and glued together. Not really happy with the stars, but by the time I glued them on, it was just going to be too much to get them off. Or the stars, I said stars, they're snowflakes. I was just not really going to get them off. So this is how I finished this. This was actually hanging up just up to yesterday because it was my winter display. So that is that one. So, all right, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do kind of a WIP parade. Now, they're going to be, I tried to show things on my phone here, and it just did not work. So I'm going to insert some pictures. If the inserts don't work because I'm not really good with editing video, then I will definitely have the patterns linked below. I have narrowed down everything to 25 projects that I'm focusing on, and I actually have more WIPs than that. If y'all know me, I probably have over 100 WIPs somewhere, and I have lots of patterns. I have a small cross stitch store, I think, in my craft room. But I want to really start getting more finishes. I'm focusing on stitching from stash, even though I have bought stuff and you're about to see that. So I just want to get started on my 25 projects that I'm focusing on. Once I have a finish, I'll put more into rotation. And I actually have already taken them out of the project bag, so you don't have to hear any zipping or pulling. I'm just going to have to do a lot of work this afternoon putting things back into project bags. I didn't tell you at the beginning, I'm shooting this. It is Sunday, February 2nd. So, all right, I'm going to have to post a picture here. We were all upset with the plane crash that happened involving the young ice skaters this past week. My stepdaughter is now a flight attendant, so it really hit home for us. I know there were a lot of other people on the plane, but in honor of the young ice skaters, I have purchased a pattern off Etsy, and I'm going to try to insert it right there. And if it didn't insert right, I will post the link down below. I thought it's a very small pattern, very easy pattern. I could stitch it this month. And I have, this would be the only time you hear some rustling. The pattern is very basic, and I wanted to jazz it up a little bit with some color. So I'm using, and this is pretty true to color. I'm using this I'm going to use this GraceNotes 18 count fabric to stitch it on. And I may stitch it more than once just to have, because these will probably be ornaments for my Christmas tree. So that's one of my focus projects. Also, I do a seasonal wall. So I don't really have a lot of St. Patrick's Day stitched. So I'm going to insert a pattern here from Primrose Cottage Stitches. I have not kitted it yet. I will be kitting that this week and getting that started so I can get it fully finished. It's going to hang on my wall. My sampler of the month is actually a stand-up, so it won't be hanging. Some of them are hanging and some of them are stand-up, depending on how I finish them. I did not finish all of those in the same way. So those are the first two projects. They're not started yet, but I'm counting them, I guess, in this WIP parade. So I actually have notes. You would not be able to read them. Steve would not either. He cannot interpret my cursive handwriting because I write in cursive. And I guess some people think that's kind of code. So those are the first two projects. The ice skates in honor of the plane crash victims and the St. Patrick's Day pattern from Primrose Cottage Stitches. The third project that I'm working on, so a few years ago, DMC was converting photos to patterns. I actually had them convert a pattern of my son Lee, and I'm going to insert that photo here. Again, if it's not there, you can view that one on Instagram. I'll add that there. I actually had them convert a photo, and I'm actually started stitching it. It is a lot of confetti, as most full coverage is. I'm stitching it on 18 count. One of the things that I like about this pattern is they were able to do it very small. It's going to finish, I think, at like 4x4 or 3.5x4.5. It's going to finish small. I stitched this on Thursdays because that was the day my son was born. Y'all, I didn't iron anything. I'm just showing it to you as it is. I iron or get it ready when it's fun. So this is where I am on this. I don't know if I would finish it this year. And some Thursdays, I don't stitch on it. Some Thursdays, I feel like I want to stitch on something else. But most Thursdays, and sometimes I think I picked it up on a Saturday or two. I decided to pick that up and start stitching that again in October. So, and I didn't have much done on it. Actually, I had started it, if you could see. I was like, oop, that was all wrong. And I restarted it on the opposite side of the fabric. So that's where I am. It is looking really true to the photo. So that's kind of I try to get into a stitching routine, and I don't know. It's good when I can keep it. By the way, my hair always drives me crazy. If you remember, I touch it a lot. My aunt remarked how much I touch my hair when I used to do FlossTube videos. A lot of these WIPs you saw if you follow me, because I am ashamed to tell you, I didn't get them finished. And I'm still working on a lot of them. This is one, and what's so sad, it's for Sweet Steve. This is from Heartstring Samplery. This is called Coffee, and this is called the Coffee Drinker's Confession. It says, I don't have a problem with coffee. I have a problem without coffee. I started stitching this. This is some 32 count Ren. And actually I'm not far away from a finish on this. But I just, for whatever reason, I love stitching it. Ren is one of my favorites. But this is where I am on this pattern. So like I said, I have the left part over here to do, which is my left. I guess you're right. I don't have that much to do, and I could probably, if I just hunkered down and worked on it for a few days, 1 week, I could probably get it finished. I'm planning on framing that for Steve because I'll be honest with you, with my finishing skills, not so great. And this is something for Steve. I don't want to mess it up. Y'all know I stitch a lot of things for Steve. You also know, if you follow me before, that I have collected most of the Heartstring Samplery's Sunday stitches. This is Blessed Assurance. Sara at Sara Stitches. I'll link her below. She was doing this one as well, and she finished it. And yes, I started mine 3 or 4 years ago. And nope, I am not finished. Now, I have to look to see. Okay, this is stitched on 28 count. Picture This Plus Heartland. And I have stitched it with all the called for colors, except there is one green in there that I changed because it's this green right here. I just didn't have it in stash. I am very close to a finish here too. So I am hoping to get that finished in the next month or two. I mean, I could actually finish it up in less than a week, maybe 2 nights of stitching, but this has been my Sunday stitch. This is one of my absolute favorite pieces. I have a couple more of her patterns that I am set to do. I liked all of them, but not all of them I'm going to do like right off the bat. On the next one, I think I'm going to do, well, I don't want to say that. You'll see it when I finish this one and I start another one because I'm just not exactly sure. Now this one, a lot of people are doing. My best friend and I are doing this together. This is One Nation by Bygone Stitches. Now I am not sure how I am going to show you this because it's huge. I've been stitching on this also since 2021. I'm stitching it on 18 count Aida. I used the cold for the blue and the red, and I just used B2000 white. This is probably, you're gonna, so I actually have all the states in, y'all. I'm gonna kind of just move it through here. I don't even know, yeah. I have all of the states in. So here, so I am just basically doing the stripes or what I have left because I went ahead and did what basically are the stars, finished that up. That was something my best friend was doing, and I was trying to do one star, one state, and I wasn't getting anywhere. So let me tell you what I'm going to do on the bottom of this. So down here at the bottom, I am planning on putting my initials instead of doing the Quaker motifs that are over here. This is the other side of that. My plan is to put my initials and the dates that I worked on it. So it looks like it's going to be, hopefully it's just going to be 2021 to 2025, but it could be longer. I do talk kind of fast. I'm trying to slow it down, but I do talk kind of fast. Now, if you, maybe you could slow down the speed, maybe because I know sometimes you can speed up on YouTube. I don't know, but sorry, I will try to slow down. So y'all know I stitched Prairie Schooler Santas, and at some point I might talk to you all about, I might just do a special FlossTube. I think I have up to 34 Christmas ornaments, several pieces. You probably can't see it. On my wall over there is one of the Prairie Schooler hymns. It is, "Oh Come All You Faithful." You can see it on my Instagram. So the Prairie Schooler Santa that I'm working on, Steve requested, he liked these rabbits. This is the 2020 Prairie Schooler Santa. I still got the price tag on that. I bought that before Dixie. What was that? Dixie Darling in Gatlinburg. Yeah, or Pigeon Forge. I bought this there, I think. I might have. So I'm stitching this one, and this is where I am on it. I'm stitching all of my, so I have switched to stitching all of my Santas on 18 count vintage country mocha. That is because the white pops so great. I didn't like it at first. I thought it was an odd one, but Steve requested it. I love it now. I get it with all the little rabbits. I like it. I already think I know what my next one is going to be, but I'm not exactly sure. All right, another thing you guys know that I was stitching back in the day was, and one of them is back here, as I was stitching all the Country Cottage Needlework samplers of the month. Now this, I haven't ironed. I have finished all of them, and they have all been out for display, but I never finished August. I am making it a priority, and I cut my fabric, sorry, and I'm making it a priority to finish this. This is what it looks like. I don't know. I have the pattern, but I can't find the cover photo. But all of this just repeats past the little cottage. I'm going to finish this, and it's going to go out display August. But I always put out one of my Country Cottage sampler of the month is always part of my monthly display. They always went out in our old apartment down in Georgia, and I have continued that tradition here in Ottawa, Tennessee. But when we moved here at the end of June. I had not finished all of them. I still had October and November. And I was going to try to finish August, but I didn't stitch a lot in July. So that kind of didn't happen. But I did finish October. I did finish November. They were displayed here. All right, I'm going to be honest about this next WIP. I don't like it. And if it wasn't for the fact that I'm doing it because of my mom, I would probably UFO this. This is simplicity, and I don't like kits. I don't care if it's Dimensions or whoever. I just don't like stitching from a kit. This is Dimensions. This is Simplicity Vintage. I liked this, and I had to have it because my mom made a lot of our clothes growing up. Most of my Easter dresses when I was young, and she did a great job. My mom, you don't really appreciate things like that when you're a kid. You just think, man, I wish I had a store-bought dress. And as soon as I made enough money to where I could buy my own store-bought dress, I did. And I'm like, no, I think I should just have my mom continue to make my dresses. You just don't think about how hard that is. And plus, she had three girls. She never was able to make my brother's outfits, to my knowledge, but she always made the dresses for my two sisters and I. So there's just a lot of things. There's a lot of blended. I don't like the way that kit floss comes, and I need to work more on this. This has a needle still in it, so I need to be shamed for this. This is all I've done on it. I think I've had this like 4 years. So I'm going to start really trying to make a point of putting some stitches in it. And I'm going to finish it. It might take me 5 years, but I'm determined I'm going to finish this project. So anyway, that is that one. Okay, a lot of these are throwbacks from things you already know. Y'all know that I fell in love with those gobble couples from RETM. I love those little turkeys. I actually finally started one last year. This is a gobble couple. This is Glory and Julius Gobbletree. I have 3 others in my stash. Now here's the sad part of this. This is all I have. This is as far as I've gotten. One little Quaker. I'm stitching it in all the call for colors. This is a 28 count even weave from stash, just a white even weave. But I don't have a lot of summer or patriotic stitches, so this is going to be a priority because I do really need to have more summer pieces. Now, my love for flamingos has not stopped. I just don't, you'd be surprised. Our guest bathroom is all pink and everything is flamingo in there. I just don't stitch a lot of flamingo stuff, and that's just kind of surprising to me. I have been working on this project, and this is a free DMC pattern. I don't know if it's still up there for free, but this is their free flamingo. I'm almost finished with that. I have a few more things in the wings, and then all I have to do is put legs on it. This is stitched on 14 count Crystal Dwarf from Picture This Plus using all the call for DMC, which is pretty obvious since it's a DMC free pattern. And I don't know why I started it so far down and so far over, because I love this fabric. It's an opalescent. You can see how things are showing up pretty true for me. Sometimes in the old place I had a hard time. I hope to get this finished. I'm going to have this framed so it can go in the guest bathroom along with all of the other flamingo collections. I did download a flamingo Santa pattern from Etsy a couple of weeks ago. Maybe it was just a week ago, I don't know. But I did download that. I'm actually getting, and I actually have finished all of the hands-on design flamingo Christmas ornaments that came out, I think 2020 or 2021. They're finished. I just haven't fully finished them. So they're that. And I'm going to tell you, I guess everything has a story for me. So I didn't start stitching on linen until 2020. I was always stitching on Aida. Just thought I couldn't, was afraid of it. I did one test project on linen back, gosh, my son was probably 7 or 8, so that would have been about 15, 16 years ago, but just never have the desire to pick up linen again. Well, in 2015, this pattern came out. This is in Just Cross Stitch magazine. I fell absolutely in love with it, was bound and determined I was going to do it, and it was going to be all of the call for colors and the call for linen. So it calls for 20 count guacamole linen from Weeks Dye Works. So I went up to Cecilia Samplers in Branson, Missouri back in 2015. Didn't have a clue about linen, about counts, how it worked or anything. They were so nice to me. I don't think this is 20 count because I don't think they had any 20 count there. But I love this linen. And of course I was so dumb that I have just stitched all over this, and I would really have probably been more frugal with the fabric. So I first had started it and it was a mess, and well, I just didn't finish it. But I'd finally, once I really got the hang of linen, and I think this is 20, I actually think this is 32 count, but I don't know. So this is the first one, and it is finished. And so my goal is to finish Love. This is a mix of Classic Colorworks and DMC, which is all called for, because I said I bought all of the called for fabrics, everything. By the way, I'm left-handed. My finger is not bruised. Ink rubs off on me when I write. But I do love this, and I wanted to finish these. I'm hoping to frame them. Something, I love the frames. I just love the pattern overall. But it's just cross stitch February of 2015 magazine. It's been in my stash a really long time. And it is, I think it is time. I cut it into 2 pieces, this fabric. So this is the mess up where I was trying to do love. This is, I'm not gonna pick all that out. This is a mess up. I'm just gonna restart it on this other side. I may pick it out. I don't know. But my plan was, and I still have a good, I don't know what I would do with it, but I still have this whole side of it, which is pretty decent size if I wanted to do some kind of small thing on it. I'm going to be starting to reach because I'm running out of room to put stuff. Sorry, I'm getting right in your face. This is another pattern you may have seen. I don't remember exactly. The Braves won the World Series in 2021, and I may have started this in 2021. This is Little House Needleworks. Take Me Out to the Ball Game. I had to stitch this. Now, it has beads in it. I don't like beads either. Okay, I'm kind of a, I don't know, maybe I'm a lazy stitcher. I don't know. Don't like beads. Don't like backstitch. So, 2 things. I told my best friend the other day that backstitch was against my moral code, but I do it if I have to. I started this, as I said, I think in 2021. So here's my dilemma with this. This is stitched on some MGC textiles, which I know a lot of people don't like that fabric, but I kind of do, and I particularly liked it for this. There's a mistake in there. And so what I'm doing is I am working around the mistake. There's a mistake right here. Wow, look at how much I can stretch my arm. There's a mistake right here in this brick house. So what I did was I went through, and when I went through and stitched this little guy here to make sure that I would know to kind of fudge all the rest of it. It's a fun pattern. I have all the called for colors. It's mostly classic colorworks. I think they're a couple of weeks, but I have all the fancy floss. I may have substituted ecru for one of the fancy flosses. So this is my oldest WIP that I'm about to show you now. I'm a person of faith, but hey, everybody's welcome here. And I stitch a lot of faith-based projects. This is from a magazine. Okay, this is funny. Steve's still sitting over there. I don't know if he knows this or not. My ex-husband purchased this magazine for me, I think. It is from, I think it's from 2002. Oh, March 2002. He did. He purchased this for me in March 2020. I'm sorry, March of 2020. So, gosh, this magazine is, oh gosh, we're old, y'all. 25 years old. This is called Jesus Name Above Every Name. I just think that's really, really pretty. So now you do know, as I just mentioned, that back up until 2020, 2019 maybe, all I did was stitch on Aida. And my favorite Aida was this fiddler's cloth kind of Aida. So this is where I am. I actually wanted to go down and do all of the letters down to there to make sure that I had enough fabric because I didn't measure. This is a quick stitch. I'm going to try to get this finished by Easter. I have another Easter project in there I'm going to try to get fixed. So, all right. Gosh, we're halfway through because this is my next halfway pile. So as I said, I'm doing a lot of seasonal stitching. I don't have a lot of summer. I'm also going to be adding some patriotic to the mix. This is also out of a Just Cross Stitch magazine, but this is more recent, August of 2023. I may have actually started it August of 2023. So this is called Summer Ice. I just thought this was so cute. Lots of colors. I always loved a good popsicle in the summer. This is 14 count. It's called Cloud Aida, and I think it's from Fabric Flare because it is. And I stitched, y'all know we travel. We're still doing some travel. I stitched this in a hotel. I think I was stitching this. Okay, where would we have been? But I know I stitched it in a Holiday Inn for a while. I know it was in, it was in Louisiana, in Baton Rouge. I stitched this some in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at a Holiday Inn. This is a good travel project for me because it's 14 count Aida. It would probably also be, if I ever go to a retreat, a good retreat. Or a good Zoom. I've done some Zooms. I Zoomed with Sara Stitches kind of because my laptop was acting up, but it's fixed now. So, hey, Sara, we could do more Zooms. So I'm going to try to do more of those. This next project is from Stitching with the Housewives. They're month-to-month barns. I have all of them. September's the one I like the best. I've stitched some motifs from some of them just to make small ornaments for something I may or may not do later. But this is the only barn that I have done. Now this comes with all of the called for fancy flosses. I chose to do mine on some 28 count even weave, some white. The other day I was like, I have no 28 count white in my stash, and as I was preparing to do this video, I'm like, well, that's because I've used it all. The reason I chose to do this barn, well, my dad was born in September, but also there is an apple barn in Ellijay, Georgia, not too far from us, and it just reminded me of that, and I just wanted to do it. I've actually done quite a bit on this. Well, that fell on the floor. It's staying. I've actually done quite a bit on this. This is as far as I am. There's a little bit of stitches over there. Hey, it's not folding right. This is how far I've gotten. I can't remember the last time I picked this up, but I do want to get this finished. I am not sure if I am going to stitch all of that or if I'm just going to stitch the barn, but I just want to get the barn finished and then I could decide. I do stitch a lot of Primrose Cottage stitches. You probably have seen a couple of things already. This one I just like. I mean, gosh, y'all, we need this. Kind words. And this says kind words are like honey sweet to the soul. I am using all of the called for DMC, and it's all DMC called for. I think I may have substituted a fancy floss, the Queen Bee fancy floss in some of it. That's where I am. I think there's a mistake in there somewhere. I definitely want to finish this soon and get this fully finished. I actually bought a wreath at Dollar Tree that's in the shape of a honeycomb or a hive, or anyways, it's in the shape of that. I was planning on somehow finishing it on that somehow. This is stitched also on 28 count white even weave. As I said, all the call for DMCs. I'll tell y'all a funny story about Steve because I'm sitting here saying all the call for things. One night I was stitching at home and I was like, I don't even remember what pattern it was. I'm like, I don't know if I like this. And he goes, well, are you using the call for fabric? I was like, how do you know that? But he had heard me say it so much on FlossTube and heard me talk about it so much with different friends that he knew to ask if I was stitching on the call for fabric. This next project is one of my favorites. Well, they're all my favorites. As a lot of y'all have said as we do these WIP parades or show a lot of our projects that we love them all, and we'll go, why haven't I stitched on this? Well, I know why I haven't stitched on this one. This is Hello Folks. It's from Shannon Christine, and I am absolutely in love with every color in there. It's all DMC. I have all the called for. The problem is, the reason I haven't stitched on it in a while, this is as far as I've gotten. There's a big mistake in that bird right there. I think I've already started to frog it. Yeah, I've started to frog it. But I thought about starting over, but this fabric is some, I have a lot of Aida in stash. Some of it I gave away when we moved. Some of it I've kept for whatever reason. This is just this is just the color. This Aida, I don't know if you can tell that it's got a creamy kind of color to it. And it was just perfect for this. So I don't have enough to like start on the others to just flip it over. Do y'all flip over your project sometimes when you make a mistake? Like, okay, I'm just going to start over again on the other end of the fabric. Well, I was thinking about doing that, but I can't. But y'all, look at these colors. These are just gorgeous, and I love them so much. By the way, y'all are getting my radio voice today for some reason. Y'all, I talk about it 5,000 different ways, 5,000 different accents. If I was really tired, I would be, well, maybe I am tired because his eyes get very long. I'm tired. What time is it? But you're getting a little bit of my radio voice. Y'all know every Easter I try to stitch a pattern, and this one I put down last year. I started it 2 years ago. Put it down because you'll see why. This is Sweet Wing Studio, Mercy and Grace. This is from a hymn called Out Calvary that I sang a million times as a child. I love this. But my problem with this one is it has nothing to do with the pattern. I started stitching it on some, I made notes, 28 count shell from Picture This Plus. Love the fabric, and this is a linen. The problem is you can't see Mercy. You cannot see that. You cannot see the words. So my choices are to rip it up and restitch it or start it over on another fabric. I haven't decided what I'm going to do about that yet. If I'm going to start it over or if I'm going to rip up the word. I mean, you cannot even see. You can barely see. See, there's mercy. There's mercy. There's that word there. Haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. But I do want to put this back into rotation and, work on it for an Easter stitch. I don't know if I'll finish it this year. I may try to push through and finish it. I may put it in my Sunday Stitches rotation after I finish Blessed Assurance, but I'm not sure yet. I do love the pattern. I have a lot of Sweet Wing Studio in my stash as well. This pattern I absolutely love. With everything going on in the world, I think a lot about peace. I ordered this in November. It says, "Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me." It is from Lizzie Kate. That is up there to remind me what fabric I'm stitching it on. This is the fabric tag from 123 Stitch. Some of y'all may recognize that. So I'm stitching it on some 28 count J Lugana, and I've actually ordered more of this because I love it so much. I got all the way to this part. And now you can finish it there where it says, "Let there be peace on earth," but I think I'm going to go ahead and finish it all the way to where it says, "Let it begin with me." I love this jade color so much. I ordered some more just to have in stash, and I'm probably going to have a little bit left over for something. Guys, I just remember y'all are only seeing a small part of all this stuff that I have and all the things that I do. These next couple of patterns are new things that I absolutely adore. Y'all, this book, I resisted getting it for a really long time. Okay, but I love it. This is Cross Stitch in the Forest from Pigeon Coop Designs, and I think if you have a book that has 25 patterns and you know that you want to stitch at least 15 or 16 out of there, that's a good buy. I ordered mine off Amazon. It's $22.99. I think it was a little bit cheaper on Amazon. Steve wanted me to start, there's a woodpecker in here. I'm going to just show you what Steve wanted me to start, and that's definitely going to be the next one that I start. Isn't this woodpecker just adorable? I'm going to start that one next. I already have the fabric. I have some GraceNotes fabric in my stash that I'm going to use, and all of these are charted in DMC, and all of these are done on 14 count. I like 18 count better, and I like 28 count Lugana, and I like 32 count Lugana, and some linen, depending on the project. I have seen, the one I chose, I have seen stitched a bunch. And so you've seen this. If you've watched a lot of FlossTube, you've seen this winter bear. I started this because we had snow in Tennessee early in January. We got 4 to 5 inches. I think Steve's over there asleep. I can't ask him. He would know. We got about 4 to 5 inches of snow, and I decided perfect time to start the winter bear. Using all the call for DMC. This is stitched on, this is an 18 count. This is 18 count vellum. My only concern, there is some snow there. I don't know how well it's showing up there. And if it's going to show up, I may have to rip that out and do a different color. Because I did pick one color from stash. It was the light snow color. It's actually in here and it shows up pretty good in there, but it's not showing up down there as much as I would like it to. But yeah, vellum is another favorite color of mine from Picture This Plus because it's got just enough modeling on it to make it different than your basic, white fabric. Now, I've become a big fan of Annie the Proper Stitcher. I'm going to be stitching her Go Tell It on the Mountain series. I just haven't started it, so it's not officially a WIP. It's in stash. It hasn't been kitted up. I think I've chosen fabric. I don't know. I'll have to check. But I've become a really big fan of hers. When she put this out, I know that at least one other stitcher is doing it. I've seen a lot of people finish it. For today, this is such an important message. I was not going to start this for a while, but the other night I think I started it last week. It was last week, or was it this week? Anyway, I just love this. There's room at the table for everyone. So I have chosen some GraceNotes gingerbread latte fabric. It's an 18 count. Now, when dyers dye fabric, sometimes the holes shrink up a little bit, so it looks a little smaller than 18 count. I also decided to do it in 936 DMC. We don't have any cross-stitch stores here, but we do have Hobby Lobby, and Michael's close by, which is different than living where we were, and Joann's, if it's going to be around much longer. So it's always, if I was to run out of DMC, it's easier to get than having to wait for 123 Stitch or someone else to send me the stuff in the mail. So this is where I am, and the gorgeousness, if that is a word, gorgeousness. It's just, I just love the way it looks on this gingerbread latte fabric. Again, I'm in the GraceNotes Fabric Club. I received 28 count Lugana for about a year. Then I did 18 count. And this month I'm starting with 32 count Lugana. But I love this. This is just a great, the pattern is easy to read. Again, I'm also doing her Go Tell It on the Mountain series, but I just haven't started it yet. Hadn't kitted it. So last 3 projects, we're almost done. I don't like to go an hour, and I talk fast, so it probably goes a lot faster, and I don't do a lot of talking in between. So I wanted to challenge myself to do a higher count fabric. So I was walking through Hobby Lobby a couple of years ago, and I purchased some 46 count, just some 46 count linen. And I found this pattern, and I like birds. Y'all know I like birds, all the birds. Antique Birds in Cages by Shakespeare's Peddler. I love it. And so I thought it would be perfect. It's hard, and one of the things, the lighting in this apartment is a challenge. That's why I had to film during the day. This is as far as I've gotten, but I finally got the groove of it. This piece of hair is driving me crazy, y'all. Finally got the groove of it. This is where I am. This won't take long to stitch. If I could just if I was stitching it on 18 count or something I was more comfortable with, I could probably do that in a week or two. Even if I was a monogamous, I'm not a monogamous stitcher, y'all. I stitch what I want. I stitch what I feel. But anyway. So, you know, I have a big Prairie Schooler collection. I also have a big Blackbird collection. And I don't know if I'll ever stitch all of them. I have 2 of them that I am currently working on. One of them is probably getting a restart. Abigail Adams, I saw it stitched and I was in love. And I'm going to, so this is Abigail Adams. You've probably seen it. If you have been, a lot of people have stitched this. This is from Sweet Land of Liberty, the book Sweet Land of Liberty. Love this book. And so I thought I wanted to do it on some kind of gray fabric. I don't know. So I had some gray even weave, and this is some 28 count even weave, and this is as far as I've gotten. And I just think I'm going to restart it on some different fabric. Just not real happy with it. I'm using DMC because it's basically red, white, and blue. So I have a really big piece of this fabric. I hope I don't show you my back. Oh, that back doesn't look bad. Y'all know I have a thing about my backs, right? So I don't know. I'm probably going to restart it though, and restart. So for Valentine's Day, Steve asked me what I wanted. I said, "Oh, we have cross stitch stores in Johnson City, Tennessee, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and Huntsville, Alabama that are 2 to 3 hours away." I said, "Oh, why don't you take me to a cross stitch store? I need to find some fabric." My best friend and I also frequented Tudor Rose in Clarksville, Georgia. She unfortunately is going out of business. My best friend went to the going out of business sale, and I couldn't get away that weekend. So sadly, I think February 28th is her last day. So she's been really good to us as far as when we go. She really takes care of us, includes us. We have really, it makes a difference when people really are inclusive of you and make you feel welcome. Every time you go in there, she could have a store full of people, but she'd make you feel like you were the only one. And I watched her do it with other customers as well. Now, this last one I ordered from Shepherd's Bush in Arkansas. A lot of y'all are stitching this one too. And I bought this in 2019. I just started it this year. I don't know if there's going to be a pic. Oh, this doesn't show the chart. Okay. This is 'tis season. So I am trying to be an economical stitcher too. So I did buy the called for floss, and it was expensive for the cardinal. The rest, I'm doing the rest of everything else in DMC. So I have my best friend, she's doing hers on blue. It is absolutely gorgeous. I'll see if she'll let me post it on my Instagram because it's gorgeous on blue. And she's a lot farther along than I am. This is where I am with it. I haven't stitched on it much at all. I need to pick it up. I love the pattern. The fabric is, it's a 28 count even weave, and it's from Be Stitch Me, but I don't know the name of it. I think it's showing up. It's green. It's a light green. The called for fabric, because I actually have the book right here, is stitched on color, a kind of a green. The called for fabric is Hold on one second and I will tell you. It's called, well, I don't see it. Oh, 32 count pear by Lakeside Linens. So I guess pear is kind of a green because I liked the fact that it was on kind of a green fabric. So, all right, guys, can you believe that we have looked at 25 and talked about 25 different projects and some full finishes, and we're at 45 minutes. I don't normally do long videos, and probably they will be shorter. Maybe if I talk slower, they wouldn't be long. So what's coming up in the future? I am going to try to film once a month. I've got some stash I'm going to try to do as some giveaways at some point. And that's kind of it. That's my plan. I hope I didn't say a lot because I used to say a lot. So hope that if you like what you've seen, if you've enjoyed the WIP parade, subscribe, like. I'm doing this for fun. Fun and because there are several of you who are my friends like, are you ever going to do another FlossTube? Are you ever going to do another FlossTube? So, hey, I did another FlossTube. I'm not going to call you out, but those of you who have asked me untold number of times when I was going to do a FlossTube, well, here it is. So, yeah, look for, we're actually traveling. We still do traveling. I still work full time. So we are doing some traveling around the 1st of March. So sometime the first week of March, I'll try to get in here. Might be the second week because of travel. And that may happen from time to time. But my goal is once a month. I may film a little FlossTube extra from now and then. And maybe I can figure out what to do with this weird strand of hair. But anyway, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching and have a great week. Bye-bye.